So it looks like the Clipse and Pharrell are over there in Paris, and they just shared this song with Kendrick Lamar, the same song that Def Jam and the father company UMG had tried to suppress from being heard. They did not want Pusha T to have Kendrick Lamar, or at least censor the verse with Kendrick Lamar for this new album, and he did not want to do that at all. Pusha T had to pay 7 figures just to leave the label and join Roc Nation with the Clipse. So the Clipse are now with Roc Nation because he didn't want this album to be censored. So this song, this record, this verse that Kendrick Lamar has on here has been such a big deal because of everything that's happened up until this point, and the reason why the Clipse had took the stand that they took. And now they're out here with Pharrell in Paris sharing the song right before the album comes out. So I can't share the song on here for obvious reasons, but I'm going to go ahead and go over the lyrics and see what it is that he says. I'm not the candidate you want to vibe with. I don't F with the kumbaya shit. All the talent must be God sent. I sent your ass back to the cosmics. The things I seen under my eyelids, kaleidoscope dreams, N-word and sirens. Let's be clear, hip hop eyed again. And this is exactly how things have been feeling with Drake's lawsuit, with everything going on with UMG, the current state of hip hop right now. We've talked about it when he made Watch the Party Eye. We've talked about the state of rap and the things that are happening currently that are affecting hip hop as a genre now. Even talking about this situation with the Clipse. How was Def Jam and the father company UMG gonna silence an artist that they had signed? It doesn't make any sense. They don't want artists to be vocal with their art. They don't want people to express themselves with their art if it's gonna make them look bad, if it's gonna make them look bad in front of others. You see what I'm saying? So when Kendrick is saying that hip hop is unalived, if hip hop is dying, it's basically saying that he agrees with the shit that's going on now. When we talk about Drake suing UMG, when we talk about how UMG and Def Jam were trying to silence Pusha T's album, talking about getting in a rap battle and then somebody suing for defamation right after. These are the primary examples that I could think of that are expressing this as a true statement right here. Hip hop right now is very diluted. And he called it out when he made Watch the Party Die. And he's saying it again on the Clipse's album. And I say this time and again, this album is to fight against the system, I believe, in my mind, because they just had to fight just to keep this verse on there and just to keep the album the way it is. So even the whole lore behind this album is based off of this statement right here. Hip hop is eyeing. After he says, let's be clear, hip hop eyed again. Half of my profits may go to Rakim. Shout out to Rakim, hip hop legend. How many Judases done let me down? But F at the West Minds, we right now. Therapy showed me how to open up. It also showed me I don't give a And obviously that was going to be the lyric that we had talked about for quite some time up until this point. That was the lyric that was discussed when this verse was getting suppressed. When Pusha T had talked about this verse and this album potentially being shelved because they didn't want to censor it, that was the lyric that was shared. The therapy line, and also saying that he don't give a fuck. But I think the interesting line before that is when he says, how many Judas done let me down? But fuck it, the West Minds, we right now. I think right there, that's also a diss one in itself. In a biblical sense, the Judas is, he's trying to say how many people have backstabbed me. That's kind of what he's going with right here. How many backstabbers had let him down? And this makes sense with what he says at the top. All the talent must be God sent, saying that his talent is God sent, that he is God sent. But how many Judas have let him down? And also to point out that Drake is from a Jewish heritage and they actually at one point were cool. So I'm not sure if this is a shot at Drake or he's just saying how many people have turned on him in the grand scheme of things. How many people did he start to realize were actually not messing with him? Because you see everybody choosing sides and you see that there's people that chose Drake's side and there's people that chose his side. And some of the people that, and this could be Travis Scott too, because Travis Scott was cool with Pusha T and Pharrell, and he was cool with Kendrick Lamar. They have Goosebumps on that one album together as well. So also thinking about that, and then thinking about how Travis Scott's next album, he was with Drake on Sicko Mode and Meltdown. So I'm just saying, like, it could be that as well. That's what I'm getting from this. But all in all, he could be just talking about the people that backstabbed him that he was cool with. Could be Drake or the people that started to side with Drake or go against him after the beef. And this is an important part when Kendrick talks about the Gemini. I think the Gemini part is very important. Two-time Gemini with the genocide. I'm generous however you want it. I'll be the gentle kind. Gentlemen and gangsters connect. The agenda of mine. Move people out of here. This shit getting gentrified. So when he says the two-time Gemini with the genocide, you got to remember, Gemini is his zodiac sign, and the Gemini also represents the twins, two sides of a person. And I think this is him when he says the genocide part. I think this is him explaining that he's the healer and the destroyer. He's the one that's trying to heal hip-hop, but also the one that has to destroy what it has become up until this point. That's why when he says gentlemen and gangsters connect, that's the agenda of mine. That's what he's trying to repair. That's what he's trying to heal. But then he says, move the people up out of here that have been here because this shit is getting gentrified. Because this shit is like going back to the original lyrics. This shit is being diluted. Things have been getting very soft. They're starting to sue over rap battles now. Artists are not able to drop music because the labels are in fear of how they would look or how it would look on them if an artist said something. They're very precautious now because of their brand. They're scared to lose commercial success over one thing their own artist says. An artist that they signed, by the way, which doesn't make sense. But this is the battle that the Clipse and Pusha T have been dealing with. And Kendrick's letting you know, bro, all of this shit is soft, gentrified. They're trying to censor us. They're trying to keep this shit clean. They're trying to police all of this shit. And going back to the Gemini angle, the two sides of Kendrick, I think he's playing the healer and the destroyer, trying to repair what is hip hop, but destroying the gentrified and soft versions of it, the versions that sue right after a rap battle, the version of hip hop where the labels care about the brand, more about their image than their own artists and their artistic expression. Why even sign an artist if you're going to silence them? It doesn't make any sense. He says, heavy jeans like blank. I drop your Pentagon. Show up at your gender reveal and tell them, give me mine. Son, guys, I am the general. Where my gin and juice? Every song in the book of Genesis. Let the sonics boom. Guys want the tea on me. Well, here's the ginger root. I generate residuals, bitch, get off my genitals. Now, this lyric is interesting. Guys want the tea on me. Well, here's the ginger root. I generate residuals, bitch, get off my genitals. Now, I want to break this down because it goes back to Whacked Out Murals, at least for me. I think about Whacked Out Murals when I hear about him saying that people want the tea on him. Going back to this, when he had said that guys from my city couldn't entertain old boy, promising bank transactions and even Bitcoin. I'll never piece it up. That shit don't sit well with me. Before I take a truth, I'll take them to hell with me. If that money got in the hands of a crash dummy, it could jeopardize my family and burden the ones who love me. Now, when he says that someone is trying to get the tea on him, they're trying to get the drop on him, they're trying to get information out of him, which is interesting because of what he said in Whacked Out Murals. People paying Bitcoin to try to get the drop on him. Information could have jeopardized his life. But as well, you got to remember, he's on the Clipse album with Pusha T. And Pusha T had said the same thing when he talked about how Drake had offered a $100,000 bounty to get dirt on him, to get information on him. So going back, like I said, this is Kendrick on the Clipse album. And now he's saying people want tea on me. Well, here's the ginger root. I generate residuals, get off my genitals. So I think it's really funny. So I think it's a slick line to say, and then generate, like, I just work on my money. I just work on myself. I just get money. I just get paid. I just do what I do, my business. And here you are trying to get up in my business. You got to get off my shit. You got to get off my dick. So I think that's how Kendrick was trying to lay it out, being very aggressive with it in the song too. This is a very vicious beat playing while this song is being played too. So when Kendrick says, they said I couldn't reach Gen Z, you effing heads. You must be full of that blank. Here comes the jinx. Yeah. Now this goes back to when people said that Kendrick couldn't reach the youth, that his music didn't attract a younger audience. And now he's laughing at the people who were saying that. You thought that I couldn't reach the youth. Now you have all these kids singing my songs. Now you have all these kids dancing and singing to Not Like Us. If you didn't think that Kendrick could reach the youth back then, you were horribly mistaken, because he really did. And he's telling you now. And I think this was a Drake diss as well. He says, ain't genetics been synthetic, screaming they genius. Now this sounds like Drake. Synthetic, not genetics, the surgery, also accusations of him using ghostwriters or AI. Is that a ghost or AI? Feeling like Joel Osteen, remember back in Euphoria? So basically calling Drake synthetic, calling a fake, genetics also playing on the body, the surgery, all of that, right? A finger waved, they fall. Guys, it's Jenga. One little movement, one subtle movement, and they all fall in pieces. They all just start breaking down. Their careers are in shambles. This is what Kendrick is saying. I moved one finger and everybody fell to pieces. Everybody is knocked down. Everybody trying to pick the pieces back up together. They all fall apart. They all fell apart. I think that's what he's breaking down. Now, the verse doesn't finish. He says, God, give me light, a good year full of blanks. So I'm not sure what he says right here, but these are the lyrics that we have so far. Big shout outs to the Clipse of Pharrell for sharing this early, man. They were able to share this around in Paris. Just did a video talking about how they were in Paris sharing the music recently. And now it looks like they're sharing the whole album to everybody who comes out to these listening parties, to these events, to these things that they're going to. So big shout out to them for doing this. Big shout out to Kendrick Lamar in this verse. Shout out to Clipse. Everybody out here watching, man. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video, man. Peace. Keep it a legend.